Do you like seeing what fancy cards your opponents will play? Would you rather just play those cards yourself? Well, if that's the case and you think it will make your opponent super upset, I have a deck tech for you. Valgavoth, Terror Eater. I hate to interrupt this with some urgent news. You will probably lose every single friend you've ever made throughout your life by playing this deck once. But if you're still down with that, let's get into it. Valgavoth Terror Eater is a 9-mana 9/9 with flying and lifelink. It also has Ward, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents, so this guy is not going to get targeted. Furthermore, if a card you didn't control was put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. And during our turns, we can play those cards by paying life instead of mana. This deck has two main strategies. One, we're going to mill our opponents out so we get those cards, and two, we're going to gain a bunch of life so we can play those cards with no repercussions. What a great day for Magic. So let's start off with mill. Altar of the Brute is probably one of our better mill pieces because every time a permanent ETBs for us, each opponent's going to put the top card of their library into their graveyard. That means every land, every creature, every artifact, every enchantment's going to get us a mill for Valgavoth. Breach the Multiverse is genuinely just a good card. It's going to give us the best creature out of everybody's graveyards, but what I really like about it is the large amount of mill it's going to accomplish. Continuing with that mill everybody train, we've got Dread Summons. It's going to make everybody mill a ton of cards, and we'll get a bunch of zombies as a bonus. Say our commander's been removed twice. That's going to be too much mana to recast him. That's where Geth, Lord of the Vault, comes in. We're going to keep milling him, but Geth is going to allow us to put those artifacts and creatures on our battlefield and give us a little more mill. It's time to get into the Universes Beyond cards, the most controversial subject in Magic the Gathering. We've got Infesting Radroach. This guy can't block, he's a flyer, and he's going to give everybody rad counters so they mill a bunch of cards, and we can keep recurring him as well. Did I hear you right? You said turn up the annoying. I got it. Mesmeric Orb has to go on this deck because whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller mills a card. We'll be milling so much, our opponents will be milling so much, it'll be a mill party. Wait, what? You want it to be even more annoying? Whoa, I've got Mind Crank for you, buddy. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player mills that many cards, and we'll be swinging in for a ton of damage, and nobody will have a library, and we'll have all the cards. Okay, I'll turn it down a notch. We've got Mind Rack Harpy, just gonna make everybody mill 3 cards at the beginning of combat. A little weak, but it's still a fun card. Oh, that's too tame? Okay, I'll put another annoying card in. Necrogoyf. It's gonna make everybody discard a card during their upkeep. Everybody loves discarding cards, and they don't have a hand anymore. So I just lumped this guy under mill because it fills up the graveyard. Guess what? I've got more Universes Beyond cards. I've got Necron Deathmark. This flash creature is a great removal source, and it adds a little bit of mill. It's Saga time! We've got one ring to rule them all. This saga has 3 chapters. First one, the Ring Tempts You, then each player mills card equal to our Ring Bearer's power, and then we destroy all non-legendary creatures. Then each opponent loses 1 life for each creature card in that player's graveyard. So if we don't have Valgavoth, we still have a win con. We also have some mill cards that will also ramp us. That's Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree. It's going to make an opponent mill 3 cards, then we get to return a land card from their graveyard to our battlefield. Screeching Scorch Beast is a payoff for a mill and a mill machine. When it attacks, everybody's getting rad counters, and whenever cards are milled, we're going to get 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. My Hillbilly Heritage makes it impossible for me to pronounce this card correctly. It's Sir Nemesis. When it comes into play, you choose a player, and whenever that chosen player casts a spell, they mill a card. So, no storming off. Now it's time to let the salt flow once again. I've got Sir Conrad the Grim. This guy's a win condition on his own, but he gives us a great way to mill everybody at once. Now that we've fed Valgavoth his steady supply of cards that we can cast, we need to gain a ton of life to make sure we can easily cast every spell exiled. First up on our life gain train is Blood Artist. This little vampire that could will let us gain a ton of life and drain a ton of life because creatures will be dying all the time in a game of Magic. Bontu's Monument provides some much needed ramp in our deck because our commander is so darn expensive, but it also gives us a great drain effect every time we cast a creature spell. Cosmos Elixir may let us draw a card if our life total is higher than our starting life total at our end step, otherwise we're going to gain 2 life. We're going to be paying so much life, I doubt we'll ever draw a card with this. Wizards, please reprint this card, Creeping Bloodsucker. It shouldn't be $5, it's just a common, and at the beginning of our upkeep, it's going to deal 1 damage to each opponent, and then we're going to gain that much life. Now we've got some real deal card draw, that's Dread Presence. When a swamp ETBs for us, we can draw a card and lose 1 life, but more importantly, we can deal 2 damage to any target and gain 2 life to keep that life gain train a-rolling. Time to turn that salt into pure MSG with Exquisite Blood. Whenever an opponent loses life, we're going to gain that much life. Now, I'm just a monster, I'm not a spike, so I didn't put Sanguine Bond in this build, but feel free to include it. That's a win the game combo. Oh, the classics. We've got Exsanguinate. It's just going to make each opponent lose X life, and we're going to gain life equal to the amount of life lost this way. This is going to be a huge life swing to have a big explosive turn to hopefully win on the spot. After giving up his career in middle management, Gary became a win con for mono black decks. When this zombie ETBs is going to make every opponent lose a ton of life, and we're going to gain a ton of life equal to our devotion to black. I hear you want more rage-inducing cards. Here's Crick, son of Yawgmoth. This guy's going to reduce all of our black spells by a ton, and he's a lifelinker that gets huge every time we cast a black spell. Anyone remember when this guy was banned? Kokusho, the Evening Star? They thought it was too powerful for Commander. It's still super strong, because when it leaves the battlefield from dying, we're going to gain a ton of life and make our opponents lose a ton. Pontiff of Blight is going to give all of our creatures extort, so when we're casting those spells from life, we can just pay our extra mana to drain everybody to gain more life to keep casting spells, and the cycle repeats. Once again, it's time to increase the annoyance level. We've got Shielder the Apocalypse. Everybody knows this card is broken, super annoying. It's going to gain us a ton of life every time we draw a card, and help drain our opponents out to make the win a little bit easier. Our final piece of life gain tech is Twilight Prophet. It's going to allow us to draw some extra cards technically when you have the City's Blessing. We're a black deck, we play to the board, and we're going to gain life when we put that card into our hand. That about wraps it up. You can see Valgavoth Terror Eater is going to be a super annoying commander that will make the salt flow at your LGS. I also have the full deck list on Moxfield to go over the removal, ramp, and card draw options. So anyways, if you like this video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.